I'm bringing my mom friends from Thomas's childcare center this year, so that's a total of 37 people. Jennifer, please prepare everything for us. At my house, it's a tradition to watch fireworks while having a barbecue in the yard on the day of the fireworks festival. When we had just started living together, my son Mark and his wife helped out, but this year, without Mark, we can't expect any help. Thinking about having to prepare it all by myself this year gets me down. After getting tired of complaining, I decide to just go with it and do my best for Thomas. As the fireworks come to an end, the mom friend's interest shifts from the beautiful fireworks to the dishes brought by Sarah. They pick up the dishes placed before them and eat while chatting. Sarah, you really are good at cooking. This is so delicious. Can you share the recipe with me? What? The recipe? Sarah is visibly flustered by Karen's question and looks away, but Karen's question inspires the other mom friends to press further. Wait, did you really make this amazing dish, Sarah? It tastes very similar to someone I know. At those words, Sarah starts to sweat and tries to ignore the comment, but Karen continues. I've actually been trying to expand my cooking repertoire by attending cooking classes recently. It's funny, Sarah, your cooking tastes just like my teacher's. Why is that? Faced with Karen's pointed question, Sarah finally closes her mouth and remains silent. Thank you all for coming today. The menu we're making today is croquettes. From the front of the kitchen studio, I addressed the students gathered for the class. I started attending cooking classes as a hobby and was recognized for my skills by the teacher, initially assisting as a helper. Eventually, wanting to stand on my own, I became independent a year after starting as an assistant. Now, I rent a kitchen studio in a residential area and teach cooking to people of all ages and genders. When I first started, there were months with 0 students, but now I consistently teach full classes. Jennifer, thank you again. I watch as the students leave one by one after today's lesson, marking the start of my time to clean up the studio. I wash the dishes and cooking utensils used by the students by hand, and leave those that can be washed in the machine to it. When I first started, cleaning up would take over 2 hours, but I've gotten it down to about an hour now. After finishing the cleanup and checking the locks on the studio's windows and doors, I head home alone. I dream of ending my day with a cold beer at home to relax from work. But with my age and all, I won't be able to get up the next day. The other main reason I can't indulge in such luxuries is my daughter-in-law, Sarah, who lives with me. About 5 years ago, my son Mark suddenly talked to me about getting married, and that's when he introduced Sarah. She came to our house for a family meeting, impressing us with her polite speech, earnest atmosphere, and lovely smile. Believing she could build a happy family with Mark, my husband Daniel and I happily welcomed her into our family. Soon after, they got married, were blessed with a child, and a healthy boy was born. His name is Thomas. His innocent smile is incredibly charming, and so he's the apple of my eye. Right after the birth, Mark moved his family's base to our home, starting to live with us. However, Sarah, despite having given birth to Thomas, knew nothing about housework or childcare and thus leaving everything to me. One day, while we were eating dinner, Mark said this to us. I have to go abroad for work. Would it be all right if I leave the 2 of them in your care? When you say abroad, when will you be back? How long are we talking? I'm not sure yet, but I'll come back as soon as I finish my work. So please. While feeding Thomas and not being able to say no, I glanced at Sarah. If we say no now, it'll put Thomas in a difficult situation. I can't let my dear grandson go through such an experience. Daniel and I looked at each other, shared our feelings, and made our decision. All right, leave Sarah and Thomas to us. Finish your work quickly and come back soon, for their sake too. Thank you, Mom, Dad. Mark, it's okay to go abroad, but come back soon, and don't forget to bring back souvenirs. And so, Mark left for overseas. From that point, Sarah seemed to be freed from some kind of restraint and did even less housework and childcare than before. Initially, she would help with setting the table and serving food, but as soon as Mark was away, she stopped helping altogether and would lie on the couch watching TV until everything was ready. She used to wipe the table with wet wipes before meals, but now she doesn't even do that much, leaving all the cleaning to me. The only thing she does is drop off and pick up Thomas from the childcare center. It seems Sarah is somewhat concerned about appearances, as she has built quite a good relationship with the teachers and mom friends at the center. I'm not good at cooking or cleaning, and Mark said if I can't do it, someone who can should help out. But, Sarah, just because you're not good at it. It's about helping each other, right? Let's help each other, Jennifer. With smooth talk, Sarah tries to persuade me, not listening to a word I say. No matter what I say, if Sarah herself has no intention of doing housework or childcare, it's pointless to say any more. We convince ourselves to not complain any further for Sarah's sake, but for Thomas's. Before we knew it, the season turned to summer, and the annual fireworks festival was to be held in the city. At my house, watching fireworks while having a barbecue in the yard on the festival day has become a tradition. When we had just started living together, Mark and his wife helped out, but this year, without Mark, we can't expect any help. The thought of preparing by myself this year is disheartening. And this year, Sarah said this. I'm bringing my friends from Thomas's childcare center this year, so that's a total of 37 people. Jennifer, please prepare everything for us. I was speechless at the unexpected number. I had heard that she was bringing mom friends this year, but I had not imagined it would be so many. I understand it's for 37 people, but you'll cover at least half of the costs, right? Since the daily meals are also paid from the shared wallet between Daniel and me, paying for this barbecue would be a strain. What? That's impossible. I only get a monthly allowance from Mark, so there's no way I can contribute. It's clear she never intended to contribute to the costs. Not helping with the preparations and not contributing financially is one thing. Being bad at housework and childcare is understandable, but this is clearly a different issue. It makes me wonder if Mark really chose the right person, considering the seriousness of the woman he brought home. However, a barbecue is an event best enjoyed with many people, and imagining Thomas happy with his friends makes it hard to refuse. If it means seeing that cute smile, preparing meals for 37 people is not too much trouble for someone who teaches cooking. I decided to accept the task for Thomas's sake, thinking as long as Thomas is happy, that's all that matters. You'll help out a little on the day, right? What? No, that's impossible. I have to entertain my mom friends, so let's compliment each other with what we're good at, right? Entertain. The impulse to retort that she's just eating and talking with mom friends nearly escapes me, but I managed to hold it back. Oh, and keep the cooking in the backyard out of sight of the kids. It's dangerous if they touch the fire, better safe than sorry. While it sounds like concern for the children's safety, it's probably more about my presence being an inconvenience to Sarah's meal with the mom friends. So, that's how it is. Though I suspected as much, being told outright makes it sad to think I won't be able to enjoy the fireworks festival with Thomas. But, given the circumstances, there's nothing more to say. Tired of complaining, I decided to just suck it up and do my best for Thomas. I quickly started the barbecue prep in the kitchen, with Sarah's back facing me, eating ice cream while watching TV in the living room. Well, let's get to work. Thanks to running cooking classes, I'm used to preparing meals for a large number of people. having a decent stock in the fridge, I was able to start preparing without wasting time on shopping. As the evening approached, setting up the barbecue grill, a pool for the kids to play in cool comfort, and arranging tables and chairs for dining in the yard was somewhat challenging to do alone. Meanwhile, Sarah was lazily eating snacks with the TV on, not even watching, and playing on her mobile phone in the air-conditioned room. This laziness made me wonder if this is what modern parenting looks like, though I know not everyone is like this. But honestly, I thought some help with setting up plates or chairs for Thomas would have been nice. 30 minutes before the fireworks festival, mom friends started to gather at the house one after another. I was in the backyard alone, grilling meat and vegetables on the grill for all 37 people to enjoy. Sarah, on the other hand, was enjoying herself in the middle of the yard around a campfire, eating the food I prepared and chatting happily with mom friends. Luckily, Daniel helped with lighting the grill and campfire, and after getting all the fires started, he quickly turned to look after the gathered kids. While Daniel was being tossed around by the kids, I prepared some special dishes to entertain the mom friends and children who had come. "Jennifer, is the food ready? I'll take it over." "Oh, really? Well then, please, go ahead." I left Sarah to serve the prepared dishes and focused on preparing other meals. Still, as a chef who teaches cooking, I peeked out from the shadows of the yard to see the reactions to my cooking. "Here you go, the next dish is ready." "Wow, looks delicious." "Did you make this, Sarah?" Amidst the praise and questions from mom friends, Sarah confidently responded, "I made all of it." "Impressive, right?" Sarah, who usually doesn't do housework, seemed to revel in the praise for the dishes she presented as her own creation. Mom friends ate without a doubt that Sarah had made the food, and seeing their reaction, Sarah seemed to believe she had actually prepared the dishes herself. Watching this, I felt happy that my cooking was appreciated but could only sigh in dismay at Sarah's pretense. As the fireworks began, the summer night sky was filled with colorful explosions, accompanied by loud noises. Sarah and mom friends watched the fireworks, and Thomas, who had been playing with his childcare center friends, also stopped to watch in awe. Daniel and I, having finished taking care of the kids, watched the fireworks together, feeling warm at the sight of Thomas enjoying himself. It was tough preparing and lighting the fire, but it's all worth it seeing Thomas have a good time. Yes, it's all worth it, as long as it becomes a great memory for Thomas. While everyone was captivated by the fireworks, Sarah called for the next dish. My moment of enjoying the fireworks and Thomas's smile lasted only a minute before I was back to cooking for the crowd. Sarah rushed me to prepare the food quickly while everyone was still watching the fireworks, not offering to help at all. Still, I silently chose simple, quick-to-prepare recipes from my cookbook. Once ready, I messaged Sarah on her phone to come and pick it up. Sarah then came to pick up the food, pretending she had made it, and took it to the eagerly waiting mom friends in the yard. "Here you go. I've brought the next dish." As the fireworks ended, the mom friends' interest shifted from the beautiful fireworks to the dishes Sarah brought. They took the food on their plates and ate while chatting. "Sarah, you're really good at cooking. This is so delicious. Can I get the recipe?" "What? The recipe?" Sarah was visibly flustered by Karen's question from the mom friends, avoiding eye contact, but inspired by Karen's inquiry, the surrounding mom friends pressed in closer. Noticing the commotion in the yard, I took a peek and saw Sarah being cornered about the cooking by the mom friends. "I want the recipe too. I want to be able to make this kind of dish too." Further pursuit from more mom friends seemed to overwhelm Sarah. "I thought this might happen." "What do you mean?" Jennifer knew. Among the mom friends Sarah had invited was Karen, a student from the cooking class. and she had hoped that Karen, who knew the taste of my cooking well, would recognize that these dishes were not made by Sarah but by me. Believing this, I continued cooking, taking Sarah's requests at face value. "Wait, did you really make this wonderful dish? It tastes very much like someone I know." At those words, Sarah, breaking out in a cold sweat, tried to ignore and get past the moment, but Karen continued. "Actually, I've been trying to expand my cooking repertoire by attending cooking classes recently. It's funny, Sarah, your cooking tastes just like my teacher's." "Why is that?" Faced with Karen's pointed remark, Sarah finally fell silent, unable to keep up the pretense any longer. Watching from the shadows, I was half pitying, half amused, but to Daniel, who saw my face, it must have seemed quite sinister. "Jennifer, you look like a villain from some suspense drama." Never did I expect to hear such a thing from my husband, especially not while spying from under the trees. But the sight of her presenting dishes she hadn't cooked as her own was too absurd, and my malicious grin was probably showing. After all, I had been paying for and preparing meals for 37 people out of my own pocket. A little schadenfreude seemed fair. "Wait, don't tell me you don't know the recipe? You said you made it yourself, so you should know the recipe, right?" "Mom can't cook, you know? Or clean. Granny does everything for us. Look, she's making dinner over there right now." With that, Thomas, who had been watching from the shadows, pulled my arm, dragging me out in front of everyone, somewhat forcibly. I hadn't expected to be pulled into the center of attention amidst Sarah being cornered by the mom friends. I learned then that people can only muster a wry smile when suddenly thrown into an impossible situation. "See, Granny's wearing an apron, right? She always cooks in that apron. Granny's food is really delicious," Thomas boasted with a beaming smile, with no malice intended. However, what was there was a child's pure desire to speak the truth about me and Sarah, but Karen seized the moment to deliver the final blow. "So, Sarah doesn't cook herself. Thomas's words are the best proof that she doesn't do the housework. Everything you've said so far was a lie, then. Then, all that talk was all lies?" Poor Thomas. With Thomas and Karen's words, it became clear that all of Sarah's previous claims were lies. Feeling the odd atmosphere among the mom friends, even the children came closer, not fully understanding the conversation. "Is Thomas's mom a liar?" they innocently asked. "Mom's not a liar, you know." Thomas stepped in between his friends and Sarah, trying to protect his mother from the mom friends' onslaught. Fortunately, Thomas's friends, not fully grasping the situation, believed him and went back to playing. Seeing Thomas defend his mother stopped the mom friends from pressing Sarah further. Afterward, Sarah, as if completely shutting down, went back inside the house and didn't come out again, leaving me no choice but to enjoy the remaining time with Thomas. "Thanks to you, we were saved in many ways." "Thank you, Karen." "No, I never expected you to be here either." "But, all these dishes, did you really prepare them all by yourself, Jennifer?" "Well, yes, but it was quite tough, you know. Sarah didn't help at all, and I didn't get any contribution for the ingredients or other expenses." "What? So you mean you covered all the expenses, Jennifer?" When I shared with Karen that I had covered all the costs, she immediately ran off to another group of mom friends and seemed to be discussing something. Peeking over, I could see expressions of surprise and concern on the faces of the other mom friends after talking to Karen. After about 5 minutes of Karen talking to each of the gathered mom friends, she came back and suddenly put her hand on my shoulder. "Jennifer, don't worry. I've just briefly explained the situation to the other mom friends, and they've agreed to pay for today's barbecue expenses." "What? You told them?" I was a bit surprised and raised my voice more than I intended, not expecting our family matters to be discussed with others. But thinking about it, Karen's actions were all out of consideration for me. By sharing the situation, we ended up with an arrangement where the mom friends would cover half of the expenses that Sarah had not contributed. Karen sometimes acts impulsively in the cooking class without listening to my advice, but even though she fails at times, her actions sometimes lead to good outcomes. Thanks to Karen, things turned out well this time. I really need to thank Karen. Karen, as a thank you, I'll teach you a recipe I haven't taught to the students yet. I whispered, and Karen's eyes lit up as she smiled. Thank you so much. And took my hand, thanking me when I'm the one who should be grateful. By the end of the barbecue, everyone was having a great time, and since some of them had work to do at the child care center tomorrow morning, we all divided up and cleaned up. The barbecue ended with everyone pitching in to clean up after a lively session, considering I might have to clean up after 37 people by myself. Karen's help made cooperation possible. Additionally, unable to forget the taste of the dishes served at the barbecue, mom friends other than Karen expressed their interest in attending my cooking class. My class was already fully booked, but I made a special arrangement to hold a trial class for them at a different time. When discussing Sarah's behavior at the child care center with someone whose child attends the same class, it seemed that Sarah, already known for her pride, had become quite isolated after the barbecue incident. The children teased her at pickup times, and the story had spread even among mom friends who hadn't attended the barbecue, leading to cold looks. It's often said that wrongdoing returns to the doer, and Sarah's current treatment seems to exemplify that. While it's unfortunate, I can't help but feel a bit sorry for Sarah. I hope this teaches her a lesson. Don't worry, Sarah's an adult, she should have understood. More importantly, your cooking is really delicious, Jennifer. Speaking of which, I was saved at the barbecue because you remembered the taste of my cooking. I want to spread my taste to other students, just like you. Anything I can do to help, Jennifer, just let me know. I'm always here to support you. Karen's positivity brightened my mood, and I looked forward to sharing my love for cooking and its flavors with more students in my cooking class. Later, I held a special cooking class for Sarah's mom friends, which all 37 attendees from the barbecue joined, and we decided to make omelets. Thomas and other children, curious about my work, also participated, making it a group activity. Thomas, are you enjoying cooking? Yeah. It's fun. Granny, you teach lots of people to cook, so that's why the meals you make are always delicious. Seeing Thomas cooking with his friends, his face beaming with joy, was infectious, and I felt the happiness spreading. Having loved cooking since I was a child, learning seasoning and knife skills while helping my mother, I wanted Thomas to enjoy learning in the right way. How about we cook dinner together next time? What? Really? I want to try. I want to do it with Granny. Then let's try cooking together next time. Thomas's interest in cooking grew stronger each time, and I taught him simple recipes that even he could manage preparing for dinner. Since the barbecue incident, Sarah, perhaps unconsciously, seemed to feel a distance even from Thomas. She had complex feelings upon seeing Thomas and me happily preparing dinner together. Thomas, is it fun cooking with Granny? While Thomas and I were preparing dinner, Sarah came out of the room and asked Thomas, who was happily engaged in the task. Yeah, it's fun. And I'm happy when Granny praises the food I make. Is that so? Maybe I should try it too. Surprised by Sarah's unexpected words, Thomas's eyes sparkled. Perhaps, through helping with cooking and preparations, the idea of making meals together with Sarah had become a dream for Thomas. Let's do it together. Mom. Yeah. Jennifer, could you teach me to cook? Of course. But be prepared, I'm much stricter than Mark when it comes to cooking and chores. From then on, Sarah began to learn cooking, chores, and even a bit of parenting alongside Thomas, gradually becoming more motherly. As our relationship evolved into teaching and learning from each other, we began to share more about ourselves, revealing deeper aspects of our personalities. I believe we can now build an environment of mutual respect. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing Mark's surprised face when he returns from overseas and sees how much Sarah, Thomas, and I have grown.